My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Now, I will kind of mention as to for that series I was working on, we already kind of turned the little elves into mushroom elves, and I tell y'all, I still got the little my mom's ice pack on my ankle, so kind of say I take care of that and got that out of the way. So I say just for a little kind of work's sake, I'm gonna turn down this little camera, let y'all see what I'm doing, but put a brush into some white acrylic paint and I just kind of like do this, and I think we're going to paint these mushroom tops white and maybe put little red spots on them. That's the kind of thing I've seen nowadays, and was just talking with my mother about that just now, and she tells me something from like before I was born. See, I wasn't born till 1980, but she told me that, like, let's say back in the 70s, they used to make those fancy mushrooms like that. I still remember as a kid that old Collier's Encyclopedia set I had. It was dated all the way back to the 60s, and it was given to us by my great aunt. And I mean, I tell you, I kind of donated it to Goodwill in 2005 because I figured there might be somebody shopping in a thrift store who probably would need them more than I would, because I've got the internet and Google and things nowadays. I get to kind of look that stuff up on and find out more about it, even to the point that it's on smartphones and things. So I say the old vintage items, they're kind of, some of them, there's people who need them. So sometimes I'm just happy for someone who needs them to have them. But that's what I heard, was that back in the 70s they did all those fancy mushrooms like that, and then I guess I'd say from what I'm seeing, they are probably just kind of making a comeback, I guess, because sometimes, just sometimes, a lot of stuff that was old and vintage from back in the days, it kind of makes its comebacks come back around sometimes. And I say that as for this, we kind of got a little white head on this little mushroom elf, and that's what we're going to call him when we get done. He could almost kind of look like a little, some sort of a chef there. I say just for a little time, put a little extra work in onto the thing and kind of make it so it's going to be kind of nice. I think about all those old mushroom men, like Toad the Mushroom Man, that was kind of on those old Mario Brothers games, and even before we had any of those video games or a set to play them on, we kind of watched an old cartoon. It was a Super Mario Brothers cartoon called the Super Show, and I say that even as part of the show, there were a couple of guys who kind of ran a little club in there where they kind of played the game and talked about the cartoon. And I remember there being a whole bunch of mushroom men that were in that whole cartoon there, and little skits about them, and oh, the little things they sang. I mean, there were times I learned that there were cover songs they did, and I just vaguely remember the time when I first got introduced to that alley-oop, oop, 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 oop as a kid, and it just so happened that the little mushroom men on Mario Brothers were singing that. If you ever get a chance to see my new reels, you'll notice that there's places I cut out of these videos where I'm doing little special work here and there. And you will notice that in the videos I have places where, with all my talking and stuff that I do, sometimes I speed up the video. And since there is kind of a policy with Instagram where you cannot take their tunes or any videos you record with their audio in it and upload it to YouTube, I just Googled that today to find out if I could do it and saw in an article that it's not allowed. So I'd say what I just kind of did with that was what I did with my last reel, even as I posted it to a story. I mean, and I have a way of cutting little sections out of these videos with editing software and kind of cropping them a little bit with other software that I have on my MacBook and making them into these little thin videos that are just the right shape to be reels, and kind of put it to where it all comes of quite the good use now and then. So I say for all little work we're going to have to do, you can tell by the ears that it's still an elf, that I noticed whenever I sped the video up that a lot of my talking in it on that high speed just kind of made it sound like a lot of my really fast, speedy chatter was just probably what made it sound like there was a little noise to the carving or a little noise to the knife or a noise to the tool. Even whenever it comes down to maybe doing it with this video, it's going to look that way with the paint. But as you can see, I put on a second layer of paint over the first one to try to make a little extra coat to kind of make the paint a lot nicer and to kind of get the whole thing just a little bit more covered here and into a little spot where we can kind of see little elves with mushroom hats. I say that, you know, this part of the wood is going to stay the same color. It's not going to be painted. And when this gets soaked in a little boiled linseed oil, as it's going to be, it's going to make kind of like a little bit more grain come out and show through the whole thing, which when you kind of soak basswood and buckeye and softwoods like that in boiled linseed oil, it makes it come out that way. So I say that for a little work here and there, we got little things to do. I tell y'all that it's just kind of like what this will be. I even forgot to kind of take the last video I made and kind of add the intro and outro to it so it can be uploaded later this week. But these days, I'm going to set premieres times for my video and set times for them to start coming on the screen, because that is kind of how I've discovered that a little algorithm will work now and then. So it's what I'm going to start doing here and see how it goes. Helps me grow my channel a little bit. And for those of you who might be willing to subscribe, I'd be happy to have you do so, because I say that, you know, videos can premiere anytime. They can take us on anytime. And, you know, it's always like you can see a video that's set to premiere and you can set a time for it, but think I'm going to stop this one here and let this paint dry and come back to do the spots later. At this point, we've given the white paint some time to dry, so it is time to put little red spots onto the little elf hats as if they are the tops of mushrooms. And so that is something we come to the point of doing right now. And see, I tell you that there's people I find out who kind of know what's popular on the market, and so it is what they make. And these days, people are, that's just what people say is that it's just getting a time when mushrooms are getting real popular. And I say that there were all these times over the years, foxes and gnomes were very popular for a while, but they seem to be starting to go out. So I say that for little circles we have in what we do, there's little circles we're painting on to this thing to make it so they have little red circles all over their white tops. And just for a little more extra information, I say that this is just one thing that comes down after another little thing goes. And so, with this kind of work, the way we take it around, make things that we make out of it, I say that this is just kind of the work that has its own path for us. I say that there's probably going to be other audio we might put in the place when we make the little reel speed clip of this little part of the project where the painting happens. And I say that these are going to be probably just tiny little circles we have, as that could be just all we really need for these tiny little mushroom heads. And with all that is said, little ways we work down to just one little object after another, and see how a little bit of this is just coming right in for its way. I say just circles, lines, dots, and dots, and all the things we said back in our days. Circle, circle, dot, dot, Operation Cootie Shot. Line, line, dot, dot, now I got my cootie shot. Oh, the things I heard in my elementary days. They get kind of a little bit stranger here and there, and all the things, it's strange how in my days kids could say. Times have changed though, and gets a little worse nowadays, so that's how we see it in our lights now. I'd probably say I smeared a little red back here, just getting a little finger in the way, but I say that circles are just little red things that kind of come and go. I remember back when I was a kid, there used to be a store called Gold Circle. It was in the place where Target is now in my little hometown. And for all the places I've gone to be in life, there's just that one that kind of rings up to us the most. I say, kind of put little dots in place. So I say we'll take a little break from that little one, kind of move along to the other, and do a little extra painting of dots and spots here and there. Kind of try to get a little bit of extra circle into the wood and make it so we see just how kind of like little spots can go the longest way. And so I say little kind of work that has awesome feel to us. I tell y'all that this is just kind of a little happy way we go about life to make the things that shine in our lives the most. I'd say art and wood carving and painting little things like this are among the things I love and among the things I do. So I say that we'll take things a little further as we go, and this video, it might be coming out a little long, but that's okay because we have a lot to do here. Of course, I'm already kind of demonstrating how it is when we kind of go to a start on all this painting, but even if I don't get around to recording the next part of the project, when we come back and put little circles in the other places, it's going to be a thing where we'll see how happy a little ways goes, and doing little happy little faces and things to kind of work in our lives to kind of see what we shall do with what we have and what will be. I say, just kind of try to paint your lines right in, just perfect in time to make them so they're gonna show up as a little bit of work in yourself, and beat in time, little times. It's all just worth it in the work. And I'd say that we probably won't show everything here, but it'll show up when it's finished on some of my other pages. And as for the work, it's all just going to be a little ways that shines to us, makes us all see brighter days and nights for us. I say that can't make a video too long. It'll take forever if we do. So I say probably going to end right about here. And if this gets to be the finale to the series, I think it'll be okay, but hopefully I'll be back on in some time again and maybe finish the painting up. So take care for the rest of the evening, and God bless you always. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.